Do you look at other people's lives and think, oh, I wish if this person did this, or if they tried that, their life would be so much better? Yep, I'm sure many of us do that, and you have done it. Or you have done it in the past and you're trying to remove yourself from doing it. Or you haven't even realized that's what you're doing. You just think you're being a good friend or a great partner, and you don't even know that that's what you're doing. You might think you're being helpful, but I just need to tell you, you're not. And I say that with so much love. In fact, being helpful when people have not asked for it is usually taken as offensive. And what you might notice is that people get defensive about people telling them how to live their lives. And fair enough too, don't you think? The thing is, when you do that, you are assuming that you know their life better than they do. And that is never true. You might have a different perspective, but they are allowed to live their life however they would like to live it. And it's not for you to interpret if that is the right way or the wrong way. So welcome to More Life, Less Drama. This is episode 98 and we are getting very close to 100, and I'm very excited to run through the finish line of 100 episodes. And I just want to say thank you to everybody who has listened to any of these 98 episodes and will continue to listen beyond 100. And you're the reason I keep going, because look, I'm going to be totally honest with you. I haven't put out an episode for 3 weeks, and that is unlike me. I have basically done an episode every week for the last 97 weeks, yet these last 3 weeks have been a little bit out of sorts, and I wasn't prepared, and I was away and didn't have the capability of recording podcasts. And so what's happened is I've come back and I'm back into the swing of things as of this week. And to tell you the truth, it's an effort to get back into the habit of creating a podcast. But know that this episode is coming out today, rain, hail, or shine, and they will keep coming out every week from now on. So thanks for those who have been patiently waiting for the next episode to drop. And you will also notice that this episode is an audio only episode. And that's for a reason, because I do not want to show my face today. It's as simple as that. Some days are just not great to be showing your face on camera, and today's one of them. And so I've decided to do an audio only. And in actual fact, if we're talking about this, when I was having a discussion with another coach today who also has a podcast, we were saying how much better it feels just to do audio only and not have to show up on video. It can be more in depth and we can get a bit more granular when we're just talking to a microphone rather than looking at ourselves or trying to make sure that we look okay on camera. So I'm going to try it out. Maybe the rest of the episodes will just be audio only and I'll have to do something else on YouTube. Who knows? We'll just see how it goes. But for now, I want you to listen to this episode and, as usual, reflect on it for yourself, how it could be true for you and why you are doing this work. I bring these topics up because I want you to have less drama in your life. And when you are constantly trying to fix somebody else's life, that is inciting drama and bringing in drama. And we don't want that. So welcome to the podcast. Okay, so before we go on, I need to give you a few caveats about giving somebody advice on their life and how to live their life. Firstly, it's for children. For anyone who is a parent out there, it's a given that you guide them. I don't want you to stop helping your kids find their way. It would look, because it would look like this. Hey, little Johnny, so Prue told me that you know your life better than I do, and I'm just going to let you choose what is good for you and what is not good for you. And this is what's going to happen. Little Johnny will then decide that eating lollies for dinner is a perfect way of ending his day, and he'll also be playing 20 hours of video games because that's essential to his happiness. But no, Keep telling your children what to do because frankly, they have no idea and we need to guide them. They need the guidance. Secondly, it's okay to offer ideas if somebody asks you for your opinion. It's basically giving you a green light if someone says to you, hey Prue, what do you think about this? Or should I do this or should I do that? So fire away, feel free to offer all the opinions that you've been asked about. And lastly, if you do this in your life currently, I want you to know that you're not bad or wrong, because many of you listening will immediately go to, oh God, this is bad. But I just want to tell you, it's most likely the opposite, okay? You care about the people. You care about the people you're trying to help. So just know that about yourself. And we're not categorizing people into good or bad. It's just all about learning about ourselves and how to be better for ourselves. Okay, so why is this a topic I bring up on the More Life, Less Drama podcast? I'm glad you asked. It's important because we are all in a heap of relationships, with our parents, with our friends, with our colleagues, with our partners, with our children. And so many of us are creating unnecessary drama in our own lives and burdening our emotional body consumed by helping others. And again, it usually comes from a good place. But what we are doing is we are worrying about them. We are having mock conversations in our head with them. It sort of looks like this, like preparing what we will say, figuring out what they will say in response, and what are our counter arguments, and how would we respond to those, statements that they throw out there. Are you doing that? Because I know I am. And I hope it's just not me. Actually, I'm going to tell you that I know it's not, because every single client I have basically tells me that this is going on in their minds. So yes, so I am not alone, and I bet you've done it on certain occasions too, where you are creating the conversation ahead of time, and usually it's a negative outcome. Usually you're just assuming the negative over anything else. The reason why we do this is humans love to control things. It's what we do best. It keeps us safe if we are in control of our environment and the people around us. And do you know what is the biggest distraction from our own growth and our own work? It's thinking about how to change others constantly. It's the best example of deflection from ourselves to others. Because how often do you worry about the decisions others are making? Maybe it's your sister's choice for not going to university, and now she's still finding her way in the career market and what she's going to do. And you think that doing study would be the best way to go, but she's rejected that idea. Maybe you look at your adult daughter and she's about to quit her job, and you think you know what's best for her, and you're got a lot of worry and anticipation about what her life is going to look like if she does that. Or maybe you look at your partner and you think to yourself, if only they just did this one thing consistently, they would lose that weight that I want them to lose. They might not even want to lose it. But we think we know their life better than them, and we think that our perspective is the right perspective. And it can go on and on. So just take a moment right now to think about, who are you worrying about in your own life? Or who is someone that you've had a conversation with where you've offered so-called advice without consent? Just give you a minute. Just take a breath now and just think about your life and where it might be coming up. And now I want you to bring it back to yourself. So where are you deflecting this advice? How can you take your own advice that you are freely offering others? Because we are all doing it. I talk to coaches all the time and friends all the time, and we've always got the best advice for each other, but we often aren't taking our own advice. So it must be said too that you might not actually be saying this to the person, you might just be thinking of it, or you also might be talking to others about it. It's easy to talk about others' problems and the solutions that you think would be best for them when they're not present. And you still do this in a way that seems helpful, but I just want to say to you, if this is you, it's a really important message to hear that it's not helpful and you actually have to stop it. It's really important that you stop it, because this piece, this thing that you might be doing, could fall under the category of gossiping. And gossiping, my friends, is never nice, even if you think you're doing it from a great place. So stopping this action alone in your life will create so much less drama, and it's because what's going to happen is that you're going to be changing your energy. Because what I know about energy is that you call in what you are being energetically. And the thing about gossiping is it's a low vibration action, which means you will call in that energy, a low vibration energy, and more drama will come at you when you've got that low vibration. And that, my friend, is creating the drama that you don't want in life. So we'll just put that to bed. We're not going to gossip anymore, even if we think we're being helpful. Now let's take a little detour. So how can you be okay when others do things differently than what you think is right? Or if they simply just don't follow your own rule book for life? Because, my friends, we all have a rule book. We don't realize it. We definitely don't share it with others. And half the time we don't even realize what our own rules are. But we definitely do have a rule book that we have from our own perception of life and our own experiences. And it is a hard one to answer in such a generalized way, because life is full of unique circumstances, right? And blanket advice here seems impossible. But it's important to ask yourself that question. How can you be okay when others do things differently than what you think is right or is your rule for life? Mel Robbins, who is an author and an international speaker, I'm sure you've heard of her. Seems everybody has heard of her because she has written a book most recently called The Let Them Theory, which also includes the Let Me theory inside that, which is the practice of allowing others to do what they want with their lives, like just letting them have and do their lives the way that they see fit, and without it giving you angst about trying to control them and like throwing your rule book at the other person saying this is the way that you need to do life. And then the let me part of the theory is what I have been practicing for years, and I also have been helping others step into the practice of it as well. And just for complete transparency here, I have not actually read Mel Robbins' Let Them Theory book in its whole entirety yet. I started it a few weeks ago in a group of friends. Like I had a friend and she read the first 2 chapters out loud in the group setting, but that's all I've read. I haven't actually read the whole book yet. But even though I haven't read the book, I have heard Mel speaking about the Let Them Theory for quite a while now, like on her podcast and with interviews with others. So I sort of have an understanding about what's going on. But this theory, even as Mel explains it, is not new, okay? I use a tool from a lady called Brooke Castillo. You would have heard me talk about it before on this podcast. It's the model. And it is a great tool that you can put this theory into practice. But again, I've been using it for years, and it's the very practical way of putting this theory into practice. And so I have developed already the muscle of let them and the let me theory in this practice of using the model, and I highly encourage everybody to give it a go. So the practical side of the let me theory is taking control of what is in your control. And even when life and emotions are running high, like they always seem to do, like we can never, I feel like I can never get through a day or a week particularly without having like a real high and a real low. And that is just normal. But what's helpful to know is that you always have the capability to tap back into thinking with intention, which is what the model helps you do. And therefore, it'll allow you to calm your nervous system and create the results that are yours and not others. Because when you are thinking about others and thinking that you have the solution to their problem or what they should do with their life, what you're trying to do is create a result in their model. And unfortunately, all we can do is create results in our own models, not their model. Many people struggle with this, but that's the whole practice of self-awareness, right? It's knowing what you can control and what you can't control. And I have said it a million times on this podcast, there is no way that you can control other people. All you can control is yourself. I actually find it really comforting to remember that I can't control others and that my only job is to control my thoughts and emotions, my actions, which then my actions give me my own results in my own life. So you should practice it. You should try just focusing on yourself and letting go of trying to focus on others too much, because that's where a lot of drama is created. As I mentioned earlier, worrying and thinking about how others are doing life is using important space where you could actually be focused on your own life. Imagine how much time you would get back in your life if you quit worrying about what people were thinking about you, what they're not doing, what they are doing, and instead just refocused on yourself. Imagine how different your life could look if you did that. And I can already hear you. I can hear you. It's that whole argument of Prue. But when I'm in relationships, it doesn't feel like that. It feels people are hurting me. It feels like what their actions are doing or not doing are actually making me sad and are frustrating me. And it doesn't feel like something I can control. It's just happening. But you can. So this is the reminder that it's not about feeling great all the time, right? It's not about constantly living in happiness, joy, and love. Life is 50-50. It's about taking full responsibility for all your emotions, the good, the bad, the ugly, and all your actions or the lack of action, and 100% all your results that you are getting from that action or lack of action. And I'm not saying it's easy. Believe me, when you're in the middle of it, it feels like 100% others are the cause of your emotions. But I promise you, you are in charge, which is a great thing. I just want to remind you, it's a great thing. So remember, you are meant to feel all the negative emotions in life as well as all the positive emotions. Sad and frustration can't live without joy and happiness. How do you know they even exist if you haven't got both ends of the spectrum? So in life, because I do like to give some practical examples here, it may look like needing space from someone. It might be needing a new environment to surround yourself in something new. It might be you doing something differently, so creating a new action that requires you to step outside your comfort zone. The point is that the time spent trying to change others is not time well spent for you. You would be better off and feel less drama if you figured out where you are doing this in your own life and making an effort to change that for yourself. So if that means you have to leave an environment or to disengage from a friendship or to have a conversation to set a boundary with a loved one, like that's what you must do. It's not for them, it's for you. And as usual, my suggestion is not going to be any different from my suggestions from many other of my episodes. And the practice is firstly awareness. I know you might be sick of me saying that, but basically that's the foundations of everything. Because being present and open to what you are thinking, saying, or doing is always the first step. If you have no idea what you're thinking or even what is happening in your action line, like the things that you are saying or even the things that you're not saying, then how on earth do you know what to change? Then you've literally just got to catch yourself in the moments that you are worrying about others, that you're thinking that you know better than others about their life. And this may have a few extra steps involved. So there are a few stages. So the first stage of awareness is you will do some reflection after the fact. And you might be like, oh, okay, I see that. I see that I did that. And that might be the following day or a few hours later. Then the next stage of the awareness piece is realizing that you are doing the thing in the middle of doing it. So you're actually saying some words, giving some advice to somebody or talking about somebody, and you're like, oh, hold on, I'm doing the thing. And you can actually rejig and do something differently in that moment. And then lastly, you might have a thought about saying something or a thought about something, but you don't take action because you've already caught yourself even before you've done it. And that is the gold standard, right? So the gold standard is catching the thought before you've even taken the action on it. And so you can change your thought at that level. And so you can do something different. But I do also realize that there is a lot of practice involved in getting to that gold standard. And the only way to get there is to practice. Like, you can't get better at it if you don't practice the awareness piece. And even though it's hard, I'm still asking you to aim for it, because eventually the more that you practice and move through all those stages, what happens is you'll find yourself slowly breaking the habit of the action that you're currently in. You'll no longer spend time thinking about how to fix others and quit assuming that you know others' lives better than they do, and you'll spend more time taking control of your own life, which is going to be a huge relief for you, I promise. So here is an idea. Instead of constantly looking at others and seeing what they are doing wrong by your definition of life, ask yourself, what can they teach me? How are they doing something that maybe I could take note of? What can I learn from this? How can I be okay with the choices they are making? That's a great question. And it's not all about right or wrong. It's about you thinking that you can control them to start with and turning it around to understanding what is actually in your control, which is you only. Because if the tables were turned, do you like being judged by others for the decisions that you make in your own life? I know the answer to this. It's a big hell no. So let's not do it to others either. Don't make problems where there aren't any. Choose to scale down solving for others and spend more time solving for your own life, and learn to set the boundaries that you may be missing in your own life. And to end, I really hope this has been helpful, but to end, I'm going to read you a page from Brooke Castillo's book, A Gift Collection of Friday Coach Like. And I just love every single page of this book. So this one says, remember this. Here's a reminder. Your thoughts create your feelings. Your feelings drive your actions. Your actions create your results. So your thoughts create your results. What do you spend most of your time thinking about? That's what you will spend your time creating. That will be your experience of the world. What is in your brain by default is your past. If you want more of that, don't do anything. If you want something better, deeper, stronger, and different, then you have to work on changing your mind. Changing your mind on purpose is the most powerful skill you can learn. Tell your brain what to create for you. Think, feel, do, create. What do you want to think about today? Isn't that great? I love that. So listen to that back again and really get it set in your mind that you are the creator of your own life. It's powerful stuff. Okay, my friends, this has been a really great come back to the podcast moment. So I'm really pleased that I have followed through and done it. And it's all about bringing it home, bringing it back to yourself. So to work on yourself, not on others. This will create the life that you love. Okay, I'll talk to you next week. Bye. Hey, thanks for tuning in to another episode of More Life, Less Drama. If you've loved this episode and you're ready to take the work deeper, I've created something really special for you. It's called 30 Days of Intentional Thinking. It's a free guided journal to help you shift your mindset one powerful thought at a time. Inside you'll find 30 thoughts, daily prompts, and space to reflect, reset, and reconnect with yourself. It's simple, it's beautiful, and it's yours absolutely free. Just head to the link in the show notes, pop in your name in the form, and I'll send it straight to your inbox. Let's keep thinking on purpose together.